This is Ray.
This is Andy.
And this is FDS Local Sports, Andy.
Woo!
Woo!
How's it going, Ray?
Andy.
Yes.
I worked my last high school game of the year.
How'd it go?
Went really good.
Yeah.
Very good game between Tantramar and Moncton High. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But what a year it's been for high school. I did a lot of games this year and got to see a lot of great players, dealt with a lot of great coaches. Yeah, my high school season is capiche.
Kaput.
Done.
Yep. Capiche. Did you mean kaput?
Kaput?
Done?
Capiche?
Capiche?
Kaput?
I don't think
Whatever.
capiche is done.
I don't know.
Anyway.
If there's any Italians out there, let us know.
There you go.
All right. Is that Italian?
Let's move on.
All right.
Let's just keep the show rolling.
Keep the show rolling.
We do this one take, guys. Sorry. All
One
right.
take.
One take.
Tantramar, Moncton High. That's the first game we're going to talk about because that's the game I was in, Andy.
Yep.
Friday night. This was Saturday afternoon. It was Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know what? Before we do that, let's change gears. Let's go to the 12-man second division because they played Friday night.
Okay.
And Friday night, Jeannie and I went over to watch the St. Max and Odyssey football game.
Right. I knew you were going to that, yeah.
The weather was terrible.
Oh, boy.
The wind was howling. It was cold out there. And I was dressed in layers. You know how I love my layers?
Yeah.
And it was cold. We watched the first quarter on the sideline.
Right.
The second quarter up in the goalpost
In the lounge, yep.
And very early into the third, we were out of there.
Gone. Yeah.
But I'll tell you right off the bat, the wind did play a factor. You should have seen some of the punts. And when the guys had the wind at their back, there was a couple big league punts in that football game.
Like some 50-yarders.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Odyssey wins this game 21-7. Mm-hmm. Brandon Melanson and Caleb Fogarty both had a receiving touchdown from Devin Niles. Mm-hmm. Then Fogarty rushed the ball in for the touchdown. A kid named Hazen Agnew.
Yep.
Okay, he had an interception in this game, and Benoit Bugeaud.
Point it out here.
Right there.
Buhold, maybe?
Bugeaud. He had a fumble recovery in this game.
Right on.
We're off to a great start at local sports this week.
Listen, I just want to say I have an Uncle Hazen,
Yeah.
and until tonight, that is the only Hazen I've ever even heard of
Really?
on planet Earth.
Wow.
So now there's a second. I'm pretty excited.
It's a pretty neat name. I like it. Hazen.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. In the second game, taking place in Fredericton, we had the Harrison Trimble Trojans traveling up to take on the Casters in a semifinal home playoff game. The Casters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Home playoff game.
And Harrison Tremble's been on a bit of a roll lately. They've been putting up a lot of points.
Yep.
But guess what, Andy? In the first half of this football game, the Casters held Tremble to 1 first down.
Wow.
Only 1 first down. Their defense came to play in this game. Caden Coughlin, 2 touchdown receptions from Sam Tremblay. Stefan So. We talked about him before.
Yeah.
He had a 65-yard interception return touchdown to the house with a big block by Henry Mason to set him free.
Yeah.
The Casters are heading off to the finals, Andy. 20-7 for the Casters in this game.
Hashtag.
It was unbelievable. Got to give a shout out to Nico Siemens and Samuel Shepard for their defensive play as well. Hashtag Casters.
Yep.
They're hashtag Caster Nation. They're on their way to the finals.
Yeah, and I've got a big shout out to Caden Coughlin or Coughlin. They've tried to coach us into saying that name correctly, but coach of the Casters posted a picture of him making a reception where he's laying it completely out in the air.
Yeah,
that was quite the highlight. I wish I was there to see that catch live.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a fantastic game. That's your Division II championship that's taking place next week. We'll talk about these in a few minutes. That's Odyssey and the Casters. Let's move on to the 12-man Division A. Okay.
Yep.
The very first game was Fredericton High visiting Riverview. Now, I don't have any stats on this game. I did talk to the officials after the game, and they just said Riverview dominated in all phases of the game. Won this game 18-0.
Okay.
And I believe that's the second game in a row they've blown out the Black Cats.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting about this is when Fredericton came to Moncton to take on the Knights, where they beat them 28-21, I want to know, where's that FHS team? Because they really played some good football that night.
Yeah.
And I was expecting Fredericton to come put a good run heading into the playoffs.
For sure. I thought they had some confidence coming off that. I think we heard from a coach or somebody in Fredericton chirping at us a little bit because our experts, that's what people like to do now when they talk about our experts. They air quotes that thing. They all picked against them. So I thought they had a little bit of confidence going, but, well, it is what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Tantramar, Moncton High. This was a great football game, Andy. Really good football game. Very competitive. I had a great chat with the captains prior to the game because I was the head referee in this game. And I want to give a huge shout out to all the captains that played in that football game, because everything we talked about pre-game, they held up their end of the bargain.
Nice.
We didn't have to throw any flags for dead ball fouls, objectionable conduct. These kids stuck to playing football from start to finish. It was a fantastic football environment, and big shout out to the captains of that game.
Did you keep it with an effort like that, and them following through on that? Were you able to keep it under 2:20?
It was just under 2 hours. Just under 2 hours.
Just under two.
Just
wow.
under 2 hours.
Woo. There we go.
What a half. Okay, what a half. Again, back and forth. At the end of the first half, until the very final play, Moncton was out in the lead 14-13.
Okay.
And on the final play of the second half, of the first half, Tantramar kicked a rouge very smartly to tie the game up 14-14.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good. Couple stats for you in this game. Owen O'Neill, 206 yards rushing with a touchdown. Riley Estabrook's 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Mason Prescott on defense for the Titans, 5.5 tackles. In the second half, those factors, the thing is, Tantramar does not make a mistake.
No.
Okay? Very Patriots-like. They don't make mistakes too often. And Moncton High had an opportunity in the second quarter, the third quarter. They stopped Tantramar on a drive. They had a chance to take the ball downfield and didn't convert points on that drive. And that was the opportunity for them to drive the nail and, to really take control of this ball game.
Right.
And they couldn't get that job done. But I want to say there's a couple guys. Number 3 for the MHS. I don't know this kid's name. I tried to find access to it. He is a running back, and they used the Wildcat offense against Tantramar. And Tantramar had a very tough time answering this package they were running. Number 3 was running between the tackles. The blocking was unbelievable. There's a number 56, I believe, is his number for Moncton High. Riley Schramm. Riley Schramm. This kid plays offense and defense.
Yep.
And he lines up as an eligible tight end or on the end of the offensive line. Made some outstanding blocks, plus held Tantramar to 14 points in the first half. Both those guys deserve huge shout-outs in this game. Moncton put up 128 rushing yards against Tantramar, and that's a number you don't hear. You don't see that kind of number against Tantramar that often. Anyways,
that's a great Patriots comparison, because the Patriots this week also faced a running back taking a bunch of snaps, and they had a really hard time with him as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good comparison. And I just have one question for you before I forget: the Rouge to end the first half in field goal formation.
No, it was in a punt formation.
Okay.
Punt formation.
Okay.
Tantramar wins this game 24-14. But like I said, it felt much closer, and this was a very good ball game. In the last 3 minutes of this game, there was some mismanagement of the clock, but that's a discussion for another day. Coaches really need to learn how to use the last 3 minutes of the second and the fourth quarter. It's extremely important in Canadian football.
In Canadian football, the last 3 minutes of the half is 45 minutes.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
That's your high school finals. We'll talk about let's talk about 9-man now, and then we'll talk about the championships.
Will do. All right, so 9-man game. First up, Harborview was visiting Sussex. Sussex handled business here, 35-0. So Sussex, again, they like to let us know how few points their defense has given up. Well, they didn't give up any more this week. Sussex's star quarterback, who we talk about every week, Owen Dunfield, had 4 rushing touchdowns of 10 yards, 30 yards, 70 yards, and 1 yard. So he covered the whole thing. Defense was exceptional again. They had 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and Alex Beach, who we talk about all the time as well, returned one of them for touchdown. They also had two fumbles recovered. So Sussex is heading off to the final now. Okay. Are you ready? I
am ready.
Shocker.
Let's talk about, and here's the one thing I love. Denny Dueron, who does our prediction articles,
coordinates them.
Yeah. What I want to say, well, first of all, I got to thank Denny and his team again, because you guys are unbelievable. The work that you guys have done for local sports, it's great. But I love that schools like James M. Hill.
Yeah.
That's becoming locker room material now. They're taking the forecaster, the predictions, and putting them on the locker and say, look.
Yeah. This is bulletin board material.
I love it.
Mr. Freeze is definitely bulletin board material. I'm pretty sure Coach Moore from JMH was texting me from the field, I think, at this point. So James M. Hill shocks Rothsay. Shocks them 23-21.
Wow.
In an absolute nail biter, Ray. It was a lot of field goals, tough defense getting played. In the last 40 seconds of the game, after JMH took the lead on a touchdown, the Rothsay pulled a trick play. It was a halfback option where he threw the ball, and it just went off the receiver's fingertips. It would have been a touchdown if the throw was there. Coach Moore, I think, might have had a semi-heart attack or something until he saw that ball drop. But a really, really tough game between these two. I didn't hear anything from Rothsay. Listen, they lost a heartbreaker, so that is what it is. It's all right for not.
And Rothsay, you guys have been great all year. We've heard from you all year. Great. Look, again, it's playoffs.
Yeah,
it's playoffs.
Playoffs.
Anything can happen in the playoffs. And James M. Hill, I mean, congratulations to them. That is fantastic for the Miramichi football program.
The Tommies are pumped. So I got a few stats to run through real quick. And these guys we talk about every week. Will Woods had 150 total yards, a rushing touchdown, and 12 tackles. He plays both sides of the ball.
Good job, Will.
Brad Robinson, they have kind of like a dual quarterback attack that they go with. He had 120 total yards and a rushing touchdown. Brady McDonald, 120 rushing yards and a touchdown. Declan Doyle had 67 receiving yards, 8 tackles and a sack.
Wow.
Andrew Savoy, 5 tackles. Ty Manuel, 6 tackles. Shoutouts to some guys that had huge games. Jason Robichaud, Damian Taylor, Braden Morris, and Josh Jardine. Drew Duplessis is the one who hit the 36-yard game-winning field goal. Sorry, I think it was a field goal that put them ahead. Yeah. So Drew Duplessis hit the 36-yarder. And, of course, big shout-out to the heart and soul of the team. And I've heard this all year, that the heart and soul of the Tommies team is their offensive line. So,
well, that's great.
Huge playoff win. My MVHS, Pulamu, they better look at this, and they better be jealous, and they better be motivated by this, because the Tommies are going off to a football championship, something I never thought I would ever say about any Miramichi team. But if I had to say it, it wouldn't be about this one.
Well, there you go. Miramichi can play football.
They can.
And you know what? I hope these kids get a parade in the Miramichi.
There we go.
There you go.
Down King George
All right,
Highway.
let's talk about the championships because it's going to be a Super Saturday of football. Now, here's an interesting story. I've heard from a little birdie up in the tree. There's a big snow. We may be getting snow on Friday.
Yep.
And they are now talking about possibly postponing the games. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's snow, folks. It's snow.
It's just snow. It's not another hurricane.
No.
Right? What?
Super Saturday in Fredericton. And again, I don't have the exact times on this. I believe it goes 9-man, Division 2, and then Division 1. Lots to talk about your 9-man. So we know it's James M. Hill versus Sussex in the championship, Andy.
Yep.
Just to give you a couple stats here, James M. Hill goes 4-3. They had 122 points for, 97 points against. Sussex, 237 points for, 26 points against, 7-0. It's going to be a tough game for the Tommies.
Yep.
But guess what? We just talked about it. Anything can happen in playoff football.
Anything.
This is going to be a great football game.
Anything. Yep.
Right?
Tommies will be very, very motivated because I haven't looked at the prediction article just yet.
Yeah.
Though I believe it is in my inbox. But I'm sure there's bulletin board material for the James M. Hill Tommies in that article coming up.
There is, for sure. There is. So we know the Casters are taking on Odyssey. Same thing. I got some stats. Points for Casters, 294. Points against, 73. Record of 7-1. Wait to hear this, Andy. Points for Odyssey, 268. Points against, 72, 8-0.
Woo.
These teams are tight.
Neck and neck.
This is going to be one heck of a football game between these two schools.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the Casters still have a bet because their one loss came to Odyssey. So we'll see how this goes. This is going to be the game of the playoffs.
That could be one of the best games we see. In the final game, we got Tantramar taking on Riverview High. Points for Tantramar, 139-4, 41 against, record 4-3.
Yep.
Riverview, points for 137, points against, 76,
right,
with a record of 4-3.
Right.
Now, some of those numbers are off a little bit because of the games that were reversed by Tantramar.
Yeah, the record's 7-0.
It's right.
It's 7-0.
It's 7-0.
It is 7-0.
But here's the thing.
On this show, it's 7-0. But anyways, go ahead.
This game here, if there's one team that can push, I've already seen
Riverview.
I already saw Moncton High play Tantramar very tough. This could be a fantastic game, and Riverview's had a number of chances over the years to win the championship over Tantramar. It will be very interesting if they can get that monkey off their back and go win this one, and see if the Royals can do that.
And this is in Fredericton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all three games are taking place at the BMO Field, which is just behind the Aiken Center in Fredericton.
Is this a new thing? I feel like Tantramar has defended their titles at home.
Yeah,
traditionally,
they have, but they're changing now. They're gonna move it around the province to help promote the sport of football.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe Miramichi will host someday.
Let's hope so.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, that's your high school. Congratulations. I got a little announcement I'm going to give you at the end. We got to roll here. We're tight for time, Andy. Tight for time. Let's talk AUS real quick.
Yep.
We told you about the semifinal. Mount A was going up to Bishops in the semifinal game. The winner of that's going on to the Lonely Bowl. Weather was a big factor. Mm-hmm. They had to delay the game from 3 to 7 because the water was covering the field.
Yep.
I've got pictures to show the water right up to the edges of the field. It was quite a scene to see. Scoring starts off. Bishops gets the first 2 points of the game because the Mounties take a team safety again, Andy.
I watched this game live, so I actually texted you the moment that happened because I knew that you know that's been your beef. You can't stand when teams do that. Nobody does it more than the Mounties. The Mounties start slow every game, and then they usually figure out a way to turn it on. But this, it doesn't get any slower than 19-0 at the end of the half. They looked absolutely terrible out there. Team discipline was pathetic. There were objectionable conduct penalties. They were shooting themselves in the foot. 19-0 at half. I had very little hope at that point, but I kept the game going on AUS.TV. And Al Gates was the head referee.
Yes, he was.
He was on camera a lot, queuing up his mic, making the calls, stumbled over his words a couple of times. I think he realized he was on prime time, but you know, what are you going to do, right? Prime time in the province of Quebec. But the Mounties came back and made a game out of it. But again, the self-inflicted wounds just, it wasn't like.
Well, in the second half, the first score they give up is another safety.
Yep.
So I just don't understand why teams give up safeties like this in the beginning of the first quarter or beginning of this. What message is it sending your special teams and your defense?
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem with them. I'll never understand it.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times a coach explains me why you got to do it. I don't believe in it, and I think that hurts. I think it hurts the Mounties.
It definitely does.
It's all about momentum.
Yeah.
Because later in the third, Bishops gives up a safety. So now it's 21-2. And guess what? Mount A starts climbing back into this ball game.
Storming back.
Football is momentum. And if you give a team momentum, whether it's 1 point, 2 points, it can have a big swing.
Yeah, anyway, it was there for the taking. Listen, the Mounties squeaked into the playoffs, and we never thought they were going to be there. They had a shot. The game was there for the taking. This is an up-and-coming team. They're going to be a good team. I like this Patrick kid at quarterback. We know Logan Grossman's there to push him a little bit, too. A different style of quarterback. Big, strong, big, tall pocket guy, Logan Grossman. So we'll see what happens next year. The one thing that I'll point out, and the guys that were calling the game just kept saying it over and over again, is coming off a record-breaking week, Josh Hicks with the 300 yards receiving and everything. They just couldn't get him involved. And finally, late in the game, they started just throwing the ball up there to give him a shot at it. He ended up with 3 receptions for 53 yards, but, I mean, you didn't even know he was playing in the first half. Yeah. So, disappointing to go out like that, but there's a lot to build on for the Mounties. Big congratulations to Bishops, who is just, I mean, they've come on as a program. Moving over to the AUS, listen, that conference that they were in Quebec, I mean, who can compete there? Moving over to the AUS, they found their stride, and they very quickly turned their program into one of the better ones in the division.
They have. Congratulations to Bishops. It's going to be a great Loney Bowl next week. They're taking on the Acadia Axemen. They're 8-0, 309 points for, 165 against.
A tough game.
It's going to be a tough game for the Gators, but again, anything can happen in football, right?
Yep.
Just a couple more things, Andy. Greater Moncton football, they are celebrating their 60th reunion. It's taking place November 30th at 7 p.m. at the Goal Post Lounge at Rocky Stone Field. It started in 1959 based on the values of leadership, respect, teamwork, and sportsmanship. They're going to be celebrating former players that have gone on to play at the CFL in different levels. They're going to be honoring 3 individuals with lifetime memberships. And coaches, players, volunteers, and friends are welcome to attend this event. My question, Andy, where does officials fit in that?
That calls for a category called Other.
Other?
Other.
Because officials weren't listed, but I'm sure we're invited. I got to double check. I gotta make some phone calls. Tickets are $10. You got to be 19 and over to go. Check out the GMFA website for more details on that. Last but not least, Andy, the AFL, they had their championship. We talked about that. Yep. I guess it was a crazy game.
What a game.
I've talked to guys that were in the crew. They're telling me that it might be one of the best games they've ever worked. Fredericton scored a late touchdown with 22 seconds left to go in the game to win this game. They win 29-26 over Holland College. That's your AFL final in the books.
In the books.
And there you go, Andy.
From BMO Field in Fredericton.
Just like that, we're up to championship weekend.
Championship weekend.
I've only got 2 games left to officiate. My season's almost complete. And then I've got my little trip to the Vania again this year.
Yeah, how's your ankle feeling?
My ankle's feeling great.
Tip top, huh? All that Call of Duty has really helped you strengthen it.
I'm probably at about 80% right now.
There you go.
80%.
Right, there we go.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Just before we get out of here, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. Andy and I have decided next week, after all the finals, we're going to do our own little high school 12-man 1, 2, and 9-man divisions, we're going to have our most outstanding players of the year. We're going to give you the FDS awards live on Facebook. So check out our Facebook page for more information.
There you go. And just like when we do this for the Maritime Football League, these are our awards. As you know, we're not at every game. No. So at the end of the day, it comes down to the players we talk about the most, the players that we notice the most with the information that's been given to us, and of course, the players that we see when we are out there.
That's right. I've seen some of these players play, and for the coaches that have sent in stats and given us weekly stats every week, we appreciate it. Yeah. We appreciate it. We keep this stuff, and like I said, we will go through those stats again, go through all your emails, and we're going to pick a kid from each team or for each level with some FDS awards next week.
There it is. So good luck on the weekend, guys. And with that, this show is Capiche. Kaput?
Kaput? I don't know. See you guys.